Welcome back, class. Today we're going to be studying figure drawings. So, the artist that we're using is Michelangelo Buonarroti. So, most people know Michelangelo by a mutant ninja turtle or also by a famous artist. He was born in 1475 and passed away in 1574. So, that's about 500 years ago. That's incredible. He is still super famous today, and he is known as being a very powerful sculptor and painter, very influential in his style. And it's kind of unusual as an artist to be such a great sculptor and painter. Usually you just focus on one art form, like clay artists just work in clay, painters just work in paint, photographers just work in photography. But that just goes to show what an incredible artist he was. He is very well known for his Pietà, and this was a story that he was asked to tell in using marble. So this was once a gigantic block of marble, which is a stone, and he chiseled and cut to make this, which is really unbelievable. A handheld drill, handheld chisel. I mean, there's no electricity back then. Tools weren't super sophisticated, interesting and good, but, not super sophisticated like they are today. And he made this and polished it up so well with his chisel and tools that this is what it looks like. So the story is that this is Mary and her son is Jesus. And he has just been killed, which is, a sad story. It's a story from the Bible. And so she is sitting there and she is sad, of course, holding him. And what I'd like you to pay attention to right now is how this arm looks just like soft, like you could touch it and it would be very, very soft, or how the clothes look like it's drapery and soft, but it's actually hard stone. It's really amazing what he did. Most of what was asked to do as an artist was he was asked, it's called being commissioned or asked by the people in power, who at that time, a lot of the time was the church or it was the king, and they would ask him to tell stories from the Bible. So this is David, which is another person from the Bible. And so he was asked to create this. I want you to see how huge David is. Again, he's carved out of stone, which is awesome. And this is a person actually cleaning and restoring David. So huge, huge piece. This person has to be on a scaffolding in order to do the work out there of cleaning him off. The other thing he's known for, like I said, are his paintings. And again, most of these are stories from the Bible that he was asked to do. As a matter of fact, he did not want to paint these paintings. He had to paint on the ceiling of a very tall chapel, the Sistine Chapel, lay on his back, and it took him for almost 4 years. He was miserable. He wrote poems about it. Oh, he couldn't stand this one. But he was made to do it essentially. Every area in here is a story from the Bible that he tells, and the one that he's most known for is the one in the middle. And it's supposed to be God giving life to Adam. There are over 300 figures that he painted, and these are not small paintings, my friends. Each painting is very, very large. And so he used it as a storytelling tool, which they used in churches, especially back then, because most people couldn't read. Actually, it was a really big deal if you were able to read. So people didn't know of the stories from the Bible because they couldn't read it. And so the church asked artists to paint the stories or sculpt the stories so they could share them with people that didn't know how to read, which is kind of an interesting concept. Can you imagine not being able to read at all? That's pretty awesome that we're able to be educated today. Michelangelo is extremely well known at making muscular bodies. So this is Adam and this is God, and he's giving life over here. That's the story that he's telling in the picture. And this is the big point where they're almost touching. Another thing he's known for, which is other pictures on the Sistine Chapel, is this. This is a pretty popular painting, and I've seen it on t-shirts, on coffee mugs, and all kinds of things. So even 500 years later, this image is being used still today. So there's these little angels, or they call them putis, and what they're doing is just looking and thinking around. Makes me think that Michelangelo probably wasn't having a lot of fun painting at that time. Here's a shockingly different artist, Keith Haring. So fast forward about 500 years, and there's an artist that's making artwork in subways and on street, like on buildings on streets, sometimes in museums, but he really wanted to reach the people. And that's kind of what Michelangelo did. He was painting these on churches to reach the people, and Keith Haring is painting them in the cities and subways to reach people. And his characters or his figures are very simple, like cartoons. So we're looking at two kind of extremes as far as art forms. But let's just take a look. Here's that same painting I just showed you, and here's another one. Now I ask you, there's a lot of things that look different, but what looks the same? They both have color. They both have moving bodies. They both have grass and a background. They both are figures. They're both interacting with each other. Kind of interesting. Sometimes art isn't so far apart as what we think. Now, in order to draw people, it's super challenging and it can be a daunting task. So let's just break it down and make it simple today. How all of these artists start off by drawing is usually learning how to draw a stick figure using human proportion. And so that's what you're going to be doing today, is learning how to draw a stick figure. Here's one style of making it where you can see the chest, like where your ribs would be, and this is your pelvis where your legs connect to your body. And so we only have three shapes here. Oops, I guess the feet and the hands are shapes too, but mostly just three big shapes. And then we have lines, and then you can move and bend those lines. Here's another style of how an artist works. You can see where there are joints and where these parts bend. That's what we're going to be doing today in class. Or this one. I love using this style. This is a total stick figure. And then what they do is the artist takes wherever you can bend, like your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your knees, your hips. Those are your bending spots. They kind of circle them. And then when you connect the circles, you make a sausage person. So it looks 3D when you're done with it. Go from here to here. Boom, it's done. So you choose a style that works best for you. And in the next demonstration, I will show you how I draw a human figure. Have fun, friends. Thanks for watching. Bye.